I
said
know the
if you,
feeling.
I said it's up to you.
That's what
Voices matter, so.
Brett told me on the phone that this is a nuisance situation.
Yeah.
So I think we probably need to defer this for a month
Okay.
in case it doesn't make it the next Monday's.
That's fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think a meeting started or something.
I'd like to welcome you to the June 3rd West Des Moines City Council meeting. Please join us for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please sign in.
Here.
We have 4 members present in the chamber and 1 on the phone.
Okay, Ryan, any changes to the agenda?
There is one change. Item 6D, development agreement with 4 Right is being continued indefinitely. The memo was just placed on the dais this evening.
Move approval of the agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Citizens Forum, we have a tribute video for Dorothy Pryor, who was a lifelong resident of West Des Moines Valley Junction, a very neat individual. I've had the privilege to spend some time with her, and so we were going to wait, since it's a longer video, and maybe show that during other business, other matters under item 9. But I just wanted to let people know who are here that would like to stay to watch that tribute, and we'd love for you to do that. All right, with that exception, if anyone else is here to address the council on any item that's not part of public hearings or new business, we'd welcome you to the podium. Okay, if you'd come up here and just share your name and your address with us.
That's it. Right there.
We'll need the AV guys to switch over to allow them to show their pictures.
David Thomas and Andy Thomas. We're at 874 78th Place in West Des Moines.
There, we can see the pictures now if you want to scroll through them.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is David Thomas, and this is my wife, Andy, with Grace and Kelly. We're residents here in West Des Moines. We wanted to come here tonight to discuss.
David, why don't you come on up to the podium,
Oh,
because this
sorry.
is being televised, and it's going to be easier to get you on TV if you're at the podium.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right.
We just wanted to come tonight to address an issue that we're having on our property due to water, as you can see. We moved to our property in September of last year, and we've been experiencing this issue anytime we've had any type of decent rain or anytime we've had consecutive days of rain. What we're seeing is our backyard is kind of at a slight slope, and so when the rain comes down, it goes down this slight slope and just settles where it plateaus or flattens out. And as you can see with these pictures, this was as recent as last week. And so what's happening is water just sits there and it takes several days, if not a week, for it to dry out. What it's causing, we're worried, that it's going to cause a mosquito problem, but also it's just a nuisance in terms of us, in terms of having 2 kids to have, be able to go back there and play with dogs as well. We have other pictures that's showing what's happening to the fence that we currently have up.
This is just me standing back there. This was last week, and it had stopped raining several hours prior. This is our neighbors to the north. They were unable to join us tonight. And these particular people, they bought their home in 2005. They claim that this has only been a problem since the last 2 years. Behind our residence was a cornfield, and in the last 2 years, they've since developed new homes. And so only since that new development has this been occurring in their yard. They also have kids. you know, all the trees. This is behind the property. It's just kind of like a lake. And then this is 2 homes down. Again, several hours after it stopped raining. It just sits there. We're unable to mow the way we want to mow the whole back row. This is just kind of a crater that's formed in our yard. And then we also had a professional fencing company out because we're wanting to extend our fence onto our entire property. And you can see there's quite a gap. The water, he says, is pushing this fence up on the side with water. This is the side without water, so you can really see on the shoe. And our dog is trying to get under it, which is another story. So, you know, we believe that the engineer who designed this had good intentions, but the plans, I don't know, we don't think are working the way they're supposed to.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know, Tom and Brian, I don't know if you guys can look back to see if this new development, whether or not they graded it right, what the drainage issues might be, just to see if there's any recourse that we can help with. If we've had this issue before once in a while when a development.
Brian Hemestad, city engineer. We've had discussions about this with actually the previous property owners, and we've talked to the engineer and the developer of that development. They've looked at different things. We've, again, just, our recommendation is to have them continue to look at solutions for their site. Now, there's some other things when we went out and looked at it that we'd be more than happy to talk with them about, but
Okay.
Technically, both sides it's private property on both sides. There's, the city doesn't really have any responsibility in it, other than we can help them, give them the information that they need to get it solved.
Yeah, anything we can do to try to facilitate the discussions between them and the developer. You know, who is your developer?
Well,
How
they
long
live-
have you guys been there? Is your
Since
second home?
September.
They live in a
Okay.
house that's been there for quite some time.
Since 2000.
I actually lived down the street from them a while back, so
Sure.
I'm very familiar with this area. So I know the area they're talking about. Creekside Glen got constructed behind them.
Who's the developer behind them? Do you
Jerry
know?
Busness.
Okay.
I mean, with your stormwater, you got to control how much water runs off. So if they didn't have a problem before, we've had a lot of rain in '08 and some other years, then it just, something doesn't seem to be right.
My neighborhood had the same issue, and I mean, pretty much anything west of the interstate's really clay, so it doesn't absorb water really well. And so some of the folks in my neighborhood, I think Brian was part of this process, but they put in drainage tile, ran it out, and that seems to have alleviated a lot of the issues that they've had.
So why don't we, because this is citizen forum, I want to keep the meeting, why don't you share whatever information you have with them, you guys look at it and keep the conversation going to help them with what potential solutions there may be. I just want to make sure that the development that occurred doesn't have a lot more stormwater runoff than it legally can provide.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
We'll look into that
All right.
definitely, and then contact the developer.
Okay.
Work with them.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else for citizens forum?
He's 5G.
Yeah, so are you going to be part of 5G? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind, why don't we wait and then have your comments then?
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else for citizens forum? Okay, we'll move on to mayor, city council, city manager reports. Jim?
At this time, Your Honor.
Kevin?
Nothing this time, Your Honor.
Russ?
No report. It was just an honor to attend the media event today to welcome DMU, and just look forward to having them here when they break ground. I think what they say next year. Yep. So that'll be exciting. That's all I have.
Okay. John?
Likewise on both accounts.
Renee?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to just say that I've had a variety of different meetings here since the last time we've gotten together. Tom Haddon and I had a good conversation with Rachel Long regarding the Taste of the Junction that's happening in Valley Junction and ways in which we can partner and allow that to be the event that she would like to grow it to be. So had a good exploration meeting there, more discussions to come. Had a great visit at the R&R Realty Open House. Very nice facility, Mayor. It was a great kind of community event with so many leaders coming out to support that. Also, was not able to attend the meeting, but did call in to express my support of the meeting that was held in Valley Junction regarding the Light Valley Junction project. If we can get that going, that'll be a very, very nice project. I think that the support hopefully is there and more support is needed. And it was a good meeting that Jim Miller facilitated. Councilman Trevelyan was at that meeting as well, Angela Conley, and representatives from KCL. So exciting thing going on in Valley Junction if that project comes to fruition. So we wish you the best on that, Jim. Really, I was very nice to always attend retirements, and Chief Jeff Dummermuth retirement celebration was very nice. And he's put in lots of years. I know he's acknowledged, but it was really nice to come out there and have some cake and lemonade to say goodbye and well wishes. And I know we'll see him at Department of Human Services, but wonderful retirement celebration there. Also attended the DMU media press conference regarding the new facility that is going to be there at their 125th anniversary. And then Planning and Development, Councilman Michelson and I attended the meeting this morning, and the primary topic was the library's kiosks. And they are going to be placing a kiosk behind the Valley Junction Center, Community Center. And I know that we need to work out a few bugs with regard to the ordinances, but it really is a community, city-owned library extension initiative that I think goes into a community that's a little bit underserved as it relates to the ability to access the library. So we both want to see that happen. We both want to see that work. And that was discussed at our meeting this morning. And both Councilman Michelson and I were very favorable to the temporary placement of that kiosk in that Valley Junction location. That concludes my reports and some of the things that are important that I have been involved with since we've last gotten together.
All right, thank you, Tom.
No report, Your Honor.
The only other thing I would add is had the privilege to speak at the West Des Moines Leadership Graduation event. Russ was there as well. That's a great that the chamber allows that to occur. Have a lot of great leaders that have come out of that program, and we appreciate the chamber sponsoring that, and it was another good group this year. Item 4, consent agenda. Any item that any council member wants to pull? Otherwise, I'll take a motion for all of them.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
All right, item 5, old business, 5A, Ashworth Road, west of I-80, generally located north and south of Ashworth Road, west of Interstate 80 to 98th Street. Amend the comprehensive plan land use map and amend zoning map to designate and zone property to high-density residential, medium-density residential, single-family residential, and business park. City initiated. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading, final adoption. There are no changes.
Move consideration of the second reading.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the official zoning map in the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title IX zoning, Chapter 4 zoning districts and map.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
Move waiver of the third reading and adoption in final form.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
5B, Ashworth Road North, generally located along the north side of Ashworth Road between approximately 76th Street and 84th Street. Amend the comprehensive plan land use map and amend zoning map to designate and zone property to office. City initiated. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading, final adoption. There are no changes.
Move consideration of the second reading.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the official zoning map in the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title IX zoning, Chapter 4 zoning districts and map.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Move waiver of the third reading and adoption in final form.
Second.
All right, please vote.
5 yes.
5C, amendment to City Code Title III Business and Licensing, Chapter 2 Beer and Liquor Control, and Title IX Zoning, Chapter 2 Zoning Rules and Definitions, Chapter 6 Commercial Office and Industrial Zoning District, and Chapter 10 Performance Standards. Modify certain regulations pertaining to restaurants, bars, and outdoor service areas. This is city initiated. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading, final adoption. There are no changes.
Move consideration of second reading.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the City Code of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title III Business and Licensing and Title IX Zoning to modify certain regulations as they pertain to restaurants, bars, and outdoor service areas.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Move waiver of the third reading and adoption in final form.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
All right, item 5D, amendment number 5 to Westtown 5 Urban Renewal Area City Initiative. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading. Final adoption, there are no changes.
Move consideration of second reading.
Any questions or comments? All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes, an ordinance deleting property from the tax increment financing district for the Westtown 5 Urban Renewal Area of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, pursuant to Section 40319 of the Code of Iowa.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Move waiver of the third reading and adoption in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
5E, Iowa Clinic Urban Renewal Area Urban Renewal, city initiated. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading, final adoption. There are no changes.
Move consideration second reading. Or of the ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the Iowa Clinic Urban Renewal Area pursuant to Section 40319 of the Code of Iowa.
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Move waiving the third and adopting final form.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Item 5F, amendment to City Code Title 6 Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 9 Traffic Schedules, Section 3 Special Stops Required, 56th Street and Corner Street, city initiated. This is an ordinance for the second, third reading, and final adoption. There are no changes.
Move consideration of the second reading.
Second.
Questions or comments? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the City Code of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending provisions pertaining to the traffic code related to official traffic controls.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Move waiver of the third reading and adoption in final form.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
All right, item 5G, amendment to City Code, Title 6 Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 9 Traffic Schedules, Section 5 No Parking Zones, 44th Street, Ashworth Road to 75 feet south of Ashworth Road to the west side. City initiated, this is an ordinance for the second and third reading, final adoption. I guess I was notified before the meeting started that the impacted resident is here, would like to speak, and maybe you didn't get notice of what the city was proceeding to do. So if you'd come on up and share your name and address with us, we'd appreciate it.
My name is Joe Carver at 4320 Ashworth Road, and the vehicles actually in question that are being questioned are mine, that I park. My name, Betty Fuller lives across the street, and I parked there for the last 5 years, and she got the notification, but I didn't receive anything. So I wanted to see what the justification is for this.
Okay.
Because this is really the first, I've had officers come check and make sure they're not junk vehicles in the past, which they're all new. But there's never been a justification or even accidents in that area that would constitute, in my opinion, a 75-foot rule. The code has always been 10 feet from the intersection. I could understand 25 feet. My truck is currently, it starts at 30 feet. I got a van that exceeds past that to my neighbor's driveway within 3 feet, which is what code states. So I'm not sure why we're trying to extend it to 75.
I don't know, Brett, or who from the staff may want to just give a quick overview of what was driving this. And I know this came through the Public Services City Council Subcommittee as well, so if either member of that committee would like to share their thoughts after Brett's done, that'd be great.
This issue was driven by complaints. Traffic engineer Jim Dickinson started receiving some complaints last fall. He didn't want to, have a knee-jerk reaction, so he waited a while. This winter, the complaints slowed down and he didn't have any, but they started again this spring. So the issue from a traffic safety perspective is that when the vehicles are parked that close to Ashworth Road, vehicles out on Ashworth trying to turn left, if there's a vehicle at the stop sign they can't make that left-hand turn. And this is similar to other areas we've had around the town. In fact, in looking at the area today, 40th and Ashworth is the same way on 40th Street. We've stripped back the parking based on complaints and issues in the past. So this is strictly an issue of vehicles on Ashworth Road from a traffic safety perspective being prohibited at times for turning left into that street. And once again, we don't go looking for these type of issues, but there's been complaints over the past few months, so.
And Brett, do you know how the distance is arrived at?
10 versus
Joe-
25 versus 75.
Right, yeah.
Well, and typically, we try not to take any more parking than we have to. This is strictly, we're trying to take 75 feet, just so any vehicles that are parked there don't prohibit the vehicles from making a left-hand turn onto 44th or right-hand turn, I guess, from Ashworth Road. So that was kind of the analysis of Jim Dickinson. He's looked at the area before. And once again, it was just very similar to some situations we've had. And we dealt with this on Valley West Drive and Giles Street, just different places like that after major arterials where we seem to have parking issues that are prohibiting traffic from getting off the major roads onto the side streets, so.
And
May I
did,
answer a question?
did Giles Street have 75, Brett, or was it 75? Is it always 75 or?
Typically, it's 75. That would probably be the shortest amount of distance. And some of it depends on driveways and different things like that. But 75 would be pretty standard for taking the parking back that far when we're having these issues.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, has the measurements actually been done? Because I can actually show you that two vehicles can actually cross each other. Even if one's at the stop sign, one coming from the other direction can still get around my vehicles.
Well, one of the problems too, like at 40th and Ashworth, you don't always know the type of traffic it is. There were school buses too trying to make left-hand turns. So, in an ideal world, if it was just a small car, it might be all right. But some people feel uncomfortable trying to navigate between parked cars and somebody sitting at a stop sign. So that's part of the problem here also. We don't know exactly what the type of traffic is.
And I would argue too that it's on a major thoroughfare like Valley West or even 40th Street, which runs over to Western Hills School. This one's a side street. So comparative to what he's comparing against Giles Street, which is right by the schools, would have more bus traffic and more routes. In fact, my kids actually can't ride a bus off my road. They have to go to 43rd or 45th. So no buses actually go on my road.
Well, I think, are we going to defer this and bring it back for more discussion? Are we going to vote on it tonight? I mean, I personally, as we moved this last time, I've experienced this issue because when I was door knocking, I went and parked my truck there, quickly got out and went and door knocked at a couple houses on either side of 44th, and quickly witnessed somebody trying to turn left onto 44th Street. And there was my car sitting there, and it caused an issue. And so I think that there is a little bit of a safety issue there. I mean, I feel for you wanting to park on the street. I don't know if we have a standard, if it's always a 75 feet, or if we can have Jim Dickinson take a look at something a little bit less than 75. I don't know what's typical. I don't want to do something that's not typical, not something we usually do. But I do know that I've experienced the issue with this because I quickly knocked a couple houses I needed to, got in my car and moved it way ahead.
And I would say if you're close, like 25 feet in, you can't fit a vehicle through there. But if you're 25 feet, you can clearly fit two vehicles, 25 feet or more.
What I think we ought to do, and I guess I'm going to move that we continue this for a month, because it's my understanding Jim Dickinson's on vacation. I don't know that we're going to have a chance to bring this back next Monday at the Public Services Subcommittee. So I think we defer this for a month, bring it back, let's look and see, can we, take no parking but not 75 feet? Can we take something less? And it might end up being 75, but at least we can do some more research and then bring this back in a month. So I'm going to make that motion that we just.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, please.
And I'd just like to also add that in terms of,
Aye.
I appreciate us doing that because the notice is a problem too. I think that we've
Yeah.
acknowledged that we should have gotten notice.
And I have submitted photos
Or
as
maybe
well.
it's just courtesy, I don't know, maybe you can speak to that, Brett, but I'm getting some mixed information from some that the notice should have been, from others that it isn't. So I just think consistency for the residents is important, so was there not to be a notice?
No, there wasn't. I spoke with Mr. Carver today, and I told him that this was, a situation where it was an oversight on Jim's
Yeah.
part. He
That
apologized. But typically, we'll send these letters out for informational purposes, just to let people know, because the council has requested that in the past, so that's a
Right.
standard process, and there was an oversight in this point, and I apologize to Mr.
Yeah,
Carver for
and I
that.
appreciate that, Brett.
Yep, thank you.
And I appreciate your responsiveness. Brett was really on this from the beginning of the call, so it does matter, and I appreciate the responsiveness. I appreciate your call as well. But, our director was really on top of this right away, so deferring it, I think, until we get the other gentleman back makes a lot of sense. But thank you for being so responsive today.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded to continue it for 30 days so that we can have Jim Dickinson take another look at the actual distance of the no parking and run it back through Public Services.
Ready to vote?
5 yes.
All right, item 6, public hearings. Item 6A, this is the time and place for a public hearing to consider Mills Crossing, 5901 Mill Civic Parkway, amend specific plan to remove restrictions on the number of restaurants initiated by Herd Mills LLC. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
May 17th, 2019, in the Des Moines Register.
Have we received any written comments?
Plan and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 6 yes, 1 was absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the specific plan ordinance.
All right, now would be the time for anyone in the audience who would like to address the city council on item 6A. All right, seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. It's an ordinance for the first reading. There are no outstanding issues.
Move consideration of the first reading.
Second.
Questions or comments? All right, please vote.
Hopefully it's a good restaurant.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, in ordinance numbers 1417, 1510, 2060, and 2190, Mills Crossing PUD, according to Title IX zoning, Chapter 9, Plan Unit Development District, pertaining to PUD district regulations and guidelines.
Move approval of first reading.
Second.
All right.
Aye.
5 yes.
All right, item 6B, this is the time and place for a public hearing to consider Reader Property, southwest corner of Southeast Pine Avenue and Southeast Sorterra Avenue, amend the comprehensive plan, land use map, and zoning map from no land use designation and unzoned to light industrial, initiated by Todd Reader. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
May 21st, 2019, in the Des Moines Register.
Have you received any written comments?
The Plan and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 6 yes, 1 was absent, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the comp plan amendment and rezoning request.
All right, now would be the time for anyone in the audience who would like to address the city council on item 6B. All right, seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed. The council communication indicates there's no outstanding issues, but we need to take the resolution and ordinance separately. So I need a motion to approve the comprehensive plan amendment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Questions or comments on the comp plan? Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, second item is an ordinance for the first reading.
Move consideration of the first reading.
Second.
Questions or comments on the ordinance? Okay, please vote.
5 yes, an ordinance amending the official zoning map in the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, by amending Title IX zoning, Chapter 4, zoning districts and map.
Move approval of the first reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 6C, the council's being asked to defer that to the June 17th city council meeting.
Move continuation.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, and as Ryan mentioned, we amended this item tonight to continue item 6D as well, indefinitely at this point.
Move to continue indefinitely.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Five yes.
All right, item 7, new business. 7A, Grand Valley Plat 3, northeast corner of South 35th Street and Grand Avenue, subdivide property into 45 single-family lots, 1 outlot for stormwater management, and 1 street lot. Engel Associates, Inc. This is a resolution to approve the preliminary plat, and there are no issues.
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments on the preliminary plat? All right, please vote.
Aye.
Five yes.
7B, Cardinal Loss, 435 South 88th Street, approval of a site plan to construct a 68-unit special needs apartment building. John Larson, it's a resolution to approve the site plan. There are no outstanding issues.
Move approval of the site plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, questions or comments? Okay, please vote.
Aye.
Five yes.
All right, 7C, DeJesus Plata Survey, 5124 Wistful Vista Drive. Plata Survey to create a parcel of transfer of ownership. Rochelle is a DeJesus resolution to approve and release a Plata Survey, and there are no issues.
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? Yes.
I was just named Joe Costanzo,
Okay.
and I'm the party that's next to that, wants to acquire that little spot. That's what happens with, 9 years ago, they put the fence up, and it was surveyed 9 years ago, and they put it where the survey was. And then the gentleman next door, when he bought the land, he wanted to put a fence up, and he had a survey done with GPS now, which showed that 4-foot variance in the back and a foot up front, so it makes it kind of like a pie. So we both came with an agreement that instead of tearing my fence down and then have to have him build another one where the actual line was, we just decided that I would just buy that little spot and just leave my fence there. So that just goes to show you, sometimes you think things are right, 9 years ago, and the way they surveyed 9 years ago and the way they do it now are completely different.
And so this Plata Survey will allow you to accomplish that, correct?
Yeah, that was the whole idea. Then they can, said that they can redo that, and then we just pay them for it.
Great, okay. All right, so it's been moved and seconded to approve it. Yeah, you bet.
Five yes.
All right, it's approved. Item 7D, the next 4 items are the issuance of some bonds. And so we can start with 7D, issuance of $7,225,000 of general obligation urban renewal bonds, Series 2019A, city initiated. And we have someone here from PFM, is that correct?
Yes.
You want to go ahead and just walk us through 7D through G, and then we don't have to call you back up every time. The bids were fantastic.
Yes, they were. It was a wonderful day on the market today. Okay, so I did pass out the bid tabulations before the meeting. We'll start with 2019A. 2019A was $7,225,000 in support of the OSMEM project, the OSMEM Urban Renewal Area infrastructure project out there. The city received 5 bids from 32 different firms with a true interest cost ranging from 1.63% to 1.72%. The bonds mature over a 9-year term, and the city's AAA rating was affirmed, and so you kind of set the market today as a AAA issuer, selling 4 series of bonds. The bonds did price 7 basis points over that AAA scale, which is to be expected since these were non-bank qualified. The winning bidder in this case was from Hutchison Shockey, Early and Company. They're out of Chicago, and they do work with a local firm here in Des Moines called DM Kelly a lot of times. The second place bid is from Fifth Third Securities, which is 4 basis points different between that first and that second bid. So as you know, I like to see how close together those bids are to see how much competition was going. And what was interesting is we tried something new today. Since we were offering 4 series and there was a lot of volume for competitive sales, we decided to go 10, 10:15, 10:30, and 10:45, and I'm very glad we did because there were like 30 sales today. And so it did allow everybody to sharpen their pencil and come back. And so as you'll notice, as we go through the next couple series of bonds, the top 3 were the top 3 for all 4 series. Hutchison Shockey did win 2 today. Fifth Third and Raymond James are the other winners. And so it's just kind of interesting to see how they, and in order to win by the end, they were taking $1.05 for underwriter's discount, which is extremely low. So on these bonds, $2.82 allowed Hutchison Shockey to win with underwriter's discount today, which is extremely low.
What did you say that was the term of the bonds?
They mature 2022 to 2028, so over the next 9 years. They'll mature in 9 years from now.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, they're very short bonds today. So the longest term
like
today
that.
was one in Coach Light for 12 years.
Okay.
And so the winning bidder, Hutchison Shockey. For the B series, $5,820,000. Let's see, 6 bids on this series from 33 different firms. The TIC range on this was 1.51 to 1.56, even a smaller range. And the winner took $1.35 in underwriter's discount, so even less than the original bonds. And these mature over 7 years. These are for 8,300 mills urban renewal area and supportive project Fantastic. And priced again 7 basis points. Very similar pricing between the 3. So in order to win, they didn't cut their pricing necessarily. They had to cut their fees to win today, which is what we like to see. So the winner here was Raymond James, who I think came in 3rd on the first. So they sharpened their pencil for the second series, which we like to see. That's savings for the city. Excuse me. For the C series, excuse me. $5,105,000. This is for 88th and Mills in the Coach Light urban renewal area. And this one was the 12-year term. This has the longest term because we're just kind of starting the Coach Light area. So we need some time to build increment there. 4 bids from 31 different firms. In this one, because it was the longer term, a little bit smaller block sizes for the market. 198 to 210 was the range. Still under 2%. Very pleased with the rates today. And again, the winner this time was Hutchison Shockey. The pricing on this one, because it did go past the 10-year term, the pricing on this overall was 13 basis points on average, which is what we would expect. As you go past 10 years, the pricing spreads are going to widen a little bit. And lastly, the D series, $6,090,000. This one is for the Boonville Road paving project, and this is a 6-year term. This was the shortest term that we had today. 4 bids from 31 different firms. The TIC ranges, the winner and the second place, it's the 5th decimal. I didn't even print it on the bid tab. It was so close.
Holy cow.
It was 1/100th or 100,000th of a basis point difference.
Wow.
And literally took $1.06 to win. So Fifth Third really wanted to win a West Des Moines sale today, so they lowered their fees to $1.06, and with a TIC of $1.49, with 1.49%, won the D series. Excellent rates.
Good.
You know, the
what we
market
like.
continues to be strong. The AAA index went down to another 2 basis points today. Over the last 2 weeks, I think we've seen almost 20 basis points drop. The tone of the market thinks that we're heading for a Fed rate cut, the 80% confidence that we're going to see a Fed rate cut before December, and so
Really?
excellent time to be in the market.
So was it Moody's that re-rated us as a triple?
S&P this time, Standard & Poor's.
Did they issue a report?
Yes, they did.
Could you email that out to us? I'd be interested
Yes.
in reading that. I always
Absolutely.
like their analysis, and I'm curious if they mentioned the new property tax bill.
You know, the property tax bill in Moody's actually came, and there was an article, the Business Record actually, the person from the Taxpayer Association contacted PFM for some comments on the impact, and I sent them directly to the rating agencies. I didn't think that it was prudent for PFM to speak for the rating agencies, and so I connected them to Standard & Poor's and Moody's directly. But they said that, just in their brief opinion, that it was neutral, that they felt like that there was no impact because the limitations in the original bills were lifted, the fund balance limitations, and it's just sort of a procedural step. There's no hard cap for what your revenues can be and for growth, and so.
But I always like reading, I think we like reading, yeah, Tim, we like reading those, the analysis that S&P and Moody's issues.
Yeah, Tim Stiles, Finance Director. I received that report, I think it was last week, and I had forwarded it to Lucinda, and I know she was out for a little bit, and we'll make sure you get it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They
Yeah,
did
thank you.
comment on the property tax legislation, and as Suzanne said, they didn't feel it would have a material effect on anything
Okay.
that we do today, so.
Okay, questions for
They
Suzanne?
also had comments about the Recplex project and wanting to look at that as we move forward, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's an issue.
I'm just glad that it didn't impact anything. I didn't think that it would. I mean, as I told Tim, I want to talk to the rating agencies if they're going to downgrade us as a result of that legislation that was passed, because I didn't think that it had any impact, but there were a lot of cities across the state that were saying, yes, this is going to affect our bond rating, and I'm glad to see that it did not.
The final version in its final form did
Yeah.
not. I would say there were a lot
Right.
of versions that had.
Yeah, I
the
can understand if the
very
one version, if the
original,
first version, yeah, that would, but this one should not have, so.
Yeah, and if you want just a summary of the bullet
Sure.
points from the Standard & Poor's, so the city is rated AAA by Moody's and by Standard & Poor's, and so every other year, the city gets its bond ratings from one agency or the other to kind of maintain both ratings. And Standard & Poor's and said that the rating reflects their assessment of the following factors for the city, especially very strong economy with access to broad and diverse metropolitan statistical area in the Des Moines metro, strong management with good financial policies and practices under their methodology, strong budgetary performance with operating surpluses in the general fund and at total government fund levels, very strong budgetary flexibility with available fund balance and revenue raising abilities despite any statewide caps and the levies, and very strong liquidity with available cash at very high levels. So that
Great.
was kind of
Good.
the highlights of what they had as
Good.
credit
Thank you.
strengths.
Well, we appreciate John Danos being with us from the Dorsey firm, helping us in on all the legal work and proceedings and everything else. So, John, appreciate all your help.
Yeah.
Any questions for Suzanne or John? Okay, so I need Ryan, can we do 7D 1 and 2, a motion and a resolution together?
It'd probably be easiest for documenting if they're separate.
Okay. So
Oh, wait, no, you're asking 7D.
7D.
I thought you were asking all the, okay.
No, 7D 1
No,
and 2.
you can
we
do the
them
motion and
together?
resolution together,
Okay,
yes.
someone want to move both 7D 1 and 2?
So moved.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Okay, I need a motion to move 7E 1 and 2.
So moved.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Motion for 7F 1 and 2.
So moved.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
All right, 7G 1 and 2.
So moved.
Second.
All right, please vote.
Aye.
5 yes.
Okay, item 8, we don't have any items to receive, file, and/or refer. Item 9, other matters. Before we do a tribute to Dorothy Pryor, does any member, any member of the city council have any other matter that they want to bring up? Okay. So Ryan, I think we have a video.
Yep, I have it queued
about
up. If we can get the AV switched over.
Okay.
Family left.
Well, they should be able to see it on, yeah.
The daughter was here in the grand.
I was born in Chanute, Kansas, 1923. I lived there until I was 12 or 13. There was 4 boys and myself. My mother was a housewife and my father was an engineer. My grandfather had 3 farms, and we had cows and pigs and chickens and truck garden. Back there, black people really didn't own a lot of land, but we did. I came to Valley Junction and we lived at 927 Maple. That was my first home. We moved to 208th Street. I've been there like 68 years. During the war, I worked for the ordnance plant making bullets. And then after that closed down, then I went to Solar Aircraft And my father also worked there, and then they sold it, and it became tech school. My brothers were in the service. My brother-in-law and his brother, Joe Garrett and Edward Garrett, were the first two blacks in the Navy from West Des Moines. Then later on, my son, Robert Garrett, went and served in the Navy. He did barbering for all the people who were on the boat. And he had a salon on 5th, between 4th and 5th on Maple. My first employment was with the school system. That's how I got into working with the city. And we organized the Betterment League, which turned out now to be Human Services, where I met a lot of people and reorganized and went into doing park work. We organized the parks, and when we had the flood, we did new homes and things like that for people that got flooded. We organized the food program, and my mother worked for that, Hortense Trumbo. And then we had Head Start classes and a daycare, which was run, the first one was run by Barbara Long on the corner of 8th and Railroad. And then we reorganized Head Start, and I was hired by the school system then, and I worked for the school system 23 years. Well, the original Mount Hebron Church, if I'm not making a mistake, we've been there like 86 years. And it first was Fort Dodge home, and we had some very good pastors there. The pastor I married under was there, and his name was Reverend L.G. Garrett, and I married his nephew, L. Lee Garrett. And so I've been in church ever since. My kids have all grown up in the church. It means a lot to be involved in church and work with the people that you know. And living in West Des Moines and Valley Junction, I wouldn't have given it up for anything and went back. My daughters now say to me, why don't you move and go to Detroit or Chicago and those places? But I'd miss all the friends that I have made. And also, this is a beautiful place to raise your children. In all the organizations that I have worked in, you can see the things that they have done, the good they have done. Because when I first come here, it was nothing but farms and cornfields. And now we've got everything that a big city has. In fact, it's a better place to live than a big city. So I would like to stay here until I can't stay any longer. It's a good place to be.
I'm glad they captured that. That's some great history, and
Yeah.
like I said, I had a
Yeah.
chance to meet her back in the mid-90s, and she's a very neat person.
She was interviewed by Vince Valdez for the Voices of the Junction, I believe is what the video was called, when we rededicated Historic City Hall. Vince went and talked to, I don't know how many different people, and videoed them for this topic, just basically talking about what Dorothy did here, you know, what brought you to West Des Moines and what kept you in West Des Moines. I also want to mention that she was Citizen of the Year for West Des Moines. I believe it was 1991. So as you can see by the video, she was very involved in West Des Moines for not being born and raised here. She got very involved in it and stayed involved in it until she died.
I'd like to just add as well, thank you, Kevin, for those really kind remarks, and love the video. And I think what it shares for me is that it is everyday, average citizens that really make a difference. You don't have to be an elected official. You don't have to have a CEO title. It's just everyday citizens that can make such a great impact on the fabric of a community and the children of the community. And so it is heartwarming to see such a lovely woman that cared so much about children and human services and making a difference. And so this video, I hope, will be saved in the archives for a long time to come to show young children what you can do as just a everyday working person to make a bigger difference than some of us that have titles and elected and everything else. So may she rest in eternal peace for the difference that she has made to so many people.
I would just say real quick, Dorothy was a character. I served with her on the West Des Moines Human Services Advisory Board when I was first appointed to it, and she was just a really neat lady and had a huge heart. So I'm glad I got to know her the way I did.
Okay, we will adjourn the formal council meeting. We have Mayor Andewig here to share on Capitol Crossroads stormwater. Aaron, maybe you as well? I think, Ryan, you've been trying to track Aaron down.
He's here. If you want to control it, there's a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Library board.